Now as I go along here, I'm going to make just some really simple choices here. I'm just going to hit my tab there. And this is going to be a float, but we're going to go ahead and give it a width first. If my container is 80M, then we'll give this a width of 50M. And this is going to float. And my float is going to be left. Now if I click on my refresh, you'll see that everything at the moment is trying to go to the side of that because we don't have anything cleared at the moment. So everything is going to try and push itself to the side. Not exactly attractive. So let's give this a really quick color here. So I want a background color. And we'll make it just as attractive as the other one. And I can refresh, and there's my content. So now for our sidebar, and we're going to float that right. So that has to have a width on it as well. So anything that has a float has to have a width. So we have the other one at 50. Let's give this a little bit of room here. So I'm going to have my width be 25M. And I want a margin right. I don't want it to be all the way over to the very edge. And that is going to be, let's say, 1M. So 10 pixels basically. And we'll give it a background color as well. Again, I'm making with my incredibly attractive containers here. Now that has a color to it, but we haven't actually given it a float, so it is automatically down underneath because we don't have room for it now. So here, let's make that have a float of right. Now we're going to see our footer try and make its way to the side of the other containers just because we haven't cleared that float yet. So anything that floats, notice that the container itself is above, so our items are overlapping. Let's go to our design view so you can actually see that. So our item is overlapping everything else. It's really not attractive at all. So I go to my code view, and right after footer, we'll give that a color in a minute, but really the most important thing here is to add a class style to clear our float. And I'm going to do a left brace, hit my enter key, and this is going to be clear of both, since I have both a left and a right. And I'm going to make this a size because we're going to put this on a BR tag. So I'm going to give it a font size of 1 pixel. And then I'm going to choose my right curly brace. We'll refresh that. Go to my source code. We need to go ahead and put that in there after that particular last div. So right before my footer, I'm going to put a BR. Then I'm going to put a space, and it's going to be a class style, and that is going to be clear float. And when I close that, it goes ahead and puts that slash in there for me, so I don't have to. I'm going to click refresh and take a look at my design view, and things are starting to look a little bit better. Now I need to style my footer, but everything else is really starting to fall into place. Now I could change the size of my sidebar, etc. Now there's one last thing that we could do, and that's actually make our headers. So I could do H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and my P tag, and give it a padding so that I didn't have to put padding on the containers themselves and then mess with my box model. So as long as I put my padding on the items inside of my containers, then I don't have to worry about my box model being messed up.